Yo, what up? This is Lazy Boy, aka Lays. Today I want to talk about keeping your expectations in check as a music producer. Two things. One is business, the other one is your music, right? So there was a show that I was watching on YouTube. It was a beat battle show. I may put it up maybe tomorrow and like react off of it or something. But it was actually a pretty good show. It was well put together and it was entertaining. But it made me realize a few things. One is most of, I don't want to say most, there are a lot of newer producers that like attend events or, watch channels. I think the majority of people that are watching channels are probably like beginners, right? Guys that don't have any like formal training. And I'm calling formal training like you've been in real studios and you've been around real producers and that's your training. They're teaching you. Um, but just like guys that, have the software on their computer, they got Ableton or FL or something and they kind of figured out how to make beats or whatever. On that show, what was interesting was that there was only like two beats that I would have considered serious beats, like not even serious, but like maybe more professional sounding, you know what I mean? Like where they know what they're doing. And then everything else was just like what I made when I first started making beats when I was 17, 16, 17. And I got a beat CD somewhere and actually it's in my other room, but I got to find a CD player to play it. I tried to pop it in my PlayStation, it wouldn't work. But one day I'll pull that up. Once we get this audience big enough, I'll pull it up and we'll listen to it and it'll be funny as hell. But the cool thing is that everybody starts off in the beginning, like at that level where it's just everything's all over the place. You can't hear a damn thing because your ear's not developed, and you think your beats sound great, but they sound bad, right? Um, so there's that, right? I think first, if you just got to be realistic and you just have to compare your stuff to everything else. And if it's not up to par, if you're like, man, why does it sound like this? Or why does it sound like it? You need to be curious because that's the only way you're going to get better. If you're curious and you're like, man, this beat that's out on Future's album or whatever, or on Drake's album, you're like, man, I got mine is kind of like that, but man, mine doesn't hit like that. Mine, like, something's missing. You're probably thinking it's hardware or something. It's not. It's none of that stuff. It's your ear. That's what's missing. Is your ear. So you need to develop your ear, and that's going to be the big takeaway on my channel. Is I'm going to keep beating that in your ear, your ear, your ear, your ear. Pause. But I'm going to keep mentioning it over and over again because you don't understand how important it is. It's damn near everything. Um, so get that in check first. If that's you right now on this video, um, I'm gonna keep popping these talks out every day. Just keep listening to them, and I'm gonna keep you. I'm gonna the mindset that I have. I'm gonna instill that upon you, and I'm gonna start playing music either in the beginning or somewhere, just so that way the new users can hear kind of what I do. I've been doing music for a long time, but there's many people out there that don't know me. Producers, typically are behind the scenes. But just so you can hear like where I'm at with my sound and on what level I'm on. And that way you can hear like, okay, this is something that interests me. I like it. Then you'll be more inclined to follow and listen to stuff like that. And I feel that's real important. Like you don't want to follow people that don't make good music. You don't. I'm not saying that they don't have great advice. Like I'm watching a lot of Logic tips videos, and I don't. Sometimes I do think they make good beats, or sometimes I don't, or sometimes it's like whatever. And sometimes I'm just there for the tips and just to see, hey, do I know anything else do they know something that I don't know? That's okay. But if you're trying to, and so have a purpose. But if you're trying to like craft your sound, you need to follow somebody that teaches that. And that's what I do. And I hate to say that I teach that because I don't have a course, I don't have nothing. But on this channel for free, that's what I'm preaching, right? That's my thing. If you met me in a studio and we became peers and we're cool with each other and stuff like that, and we built a relationship and we're playing beats and this and that, and weeks and months go on, or you knew any of the guys that know me, they're gonna list off those qualities like, oh yeah, Lays knows what he's talking about. Yeah, yeah, oh no, he's good with that, he's good with this, he's good with that. And a lot of people trust me when it comes to having an ear, kind of being like a Dr. Dre. That's the greatest thing about Dr. Dre, I would say, is he's got a great ear, you know? Yeah, there's a level where you've done everything and you're probably like involved in other things because you're on a whole nother level and it's beyond music. But like that is why Dr. Dre, has always made amazing music and just like been a pioneer in this, right? Like he definitely developed that. And other producers like Timberland, I would say Timberland had like a really dope ear, especially in the beginning because he was thinking outside the box. And you could just tell that like, yeah, he makes dope beats and thinks of great ideas with records and stuff, and he's made classics. But like he wouldn't have had any of that if you didn't have an ear to kind of guide him. You know, even look at the gear back in the day. Like it was a lot trickier than it is today. Like you got to have the ear to guide you because you gotta load in a bunch of like a preset, a patch with a bunch of sounds. Like it takes a lot of effort just to get the sounds up, and you really have to, one, love it, and then two, really know how to make the right decisions. So that's one thing. So follow people that make dope stuff. If they don't make dope stuff, don't even listen to them. Don't waste your time because you just want to have one, two, or three people, and you just keep listening to them over and over again, and just pretty much just copying them. I hate to say that, but you're copying to learn, right? You're not copying for the sake of copying. I was just watching. I discovered this YouTube channel that's old, doesn't have that many subscribers, like under 1,000. And the dude was claiming he's the next Timberland. Like he claimed this years ago, like I don't know, 12 years ago or something. And I went and clicked. I was like, who said this? So I clicked on it, and he's really dope. And I have a lot of inspiration in my music that comes from Timberland, that comes from Pharrell and Chad from the Neptunes, that comes from other producers that I grew up listening to. But this dude straight up sounded like Timberland, and it was amazing what he was doing. And I think there's something special there. But I mean, there's just a thing when you step in the studios, and you're in there on the highest levels at like an industry spot, and you're playing stuff, and then you got someone like Timberland right next to you, and it just sounds like a copy. You know what I mean? Even though it's dope and amazing, like that's one thing that you definitely want. You want your own sound. So take stuff, and then flip it into your own stuff, right? If your beats sound whack right now, like if you're someone that you play stuff and you get mixed reactions and you think it sounds great and you don't know jack shit about mixing, you don't know none of that stuff, you're like your files are randomly all over your computer, then you may be, and let's say you've been producing for under 3 years, you may be one of the guys that I'm talking about. You may be someone that is just not good enough. You're not ready to play ball. You're sitting on the sidelines and you're telling yourself that you are. You can't go in there, play ball, because you're going to get blocked. You're going to get dunked on. You're just going to get thrown out, So you need to make sure you're realistic with yourself. That's the point. All right, that's the point. So what you need to be doing is don't worry about crafting the sound. You need to worry about sounding like making decent sounding beats. You need to understand, you need to compare your stuff to other people's stuff. You need to um it needs to be on that same level. So you go, oh yeah, this shit sounds dope. You need to play something like if you're making like hip hop or whatever, you're making Drake type shit or trap or whatever, you need to be able to play their songs on a released record off of Spotify and then play your shit next and be like, yeah, yeah, that that vibe's good, like that fits good. It doesn't like drop off. The volume sounds there. My drums slap, their drum slap, my drum slap, my melody hits like, yeah, that feels good. That feels like pretend it wasn't yours. That feels like it was the next track on his album. If you're there, then don't worry about it. Then you're good. Then you need to be worrying about creating your sound. If you're not there, you need to be making as many beats as you can and just copying until you get the formula down and you figure it out. You make that connection with your brain so that way what you know what sounds good because you're still trying to figure out what sounds good. You just think you know, and then afterwards you like bumping it and your homies that don't have an ear either are telling you that the shit sounds dope because they have no idea either. And I'm telling you this because everybody starts out from that level. So don't be discouraged. Don't think that because you're, you know, sometimes you feel like it sounds dope, sometimes you feel like it sounds like shit. Don't think that that's just where it ends. It doesn't. That's where you got to keep working, keep pushing. Make another beat, make another beat, make another beat, make another beat. Every day, make a beat, make a beat. Don't spend too much time. I mean, you know, spend enough time. Don't like stop your life. Like if you're doing important things in your life, like working a job, don't quit your job just to make beats because that ain't gonna get you nowhere. Right. So that's one side. And I may elaborate on that in future videos because I feel like maybe 90% of you guys watching these type of videos, those are the guys that's the you guys are, you know, in that stage. And like I said, you'll have you just got to put the reps in right now. You got the good sounds. That was the hardest part back in the day. It was hard to get sounds. You'd have to buy an expensive keyboard, and then even after that, like you'd need drum sounds. You can't buy drum sounds. You couldn't buy drum sounds. You'd have to get them from someone, or you'd have to like, you know, sample them off of records and stuff. And that takes a long time, and you still got to have an ear for that. And you know, so there's challenges there too. So you're lucky right now. You know, you got the software, you got the tech, you got the laptop. Technology's off the chain right now, and you got the drum sounds. Go spend $25 and buy a drum pack or whatever from whatever type of style you're trying to make. Um, and just like I said, just emulate for the sake of learning, and then put your own flavor, the stuff that you like, that you grew up listening to or whatever, like inject that in there and just make something new and try to think about, let me try to make something different that nobody else is doing. You know, make that add that unique factor in there. As far as the business goes, this is why I brought that part up first, because the business, you have no business doing anything in music on a professional level if that's not already in check. If you're not on a level, you don't need to try to go to LA. You don't need to try to go to Miami. You don't need to try to go to New York or Atlanta. Um, you know, maybe you're an engineer, or maybe you're if you got engineering skills because you went to engineering school, yeah, go. But maybe you want to produce too, but you're not there yet. Okay, go engineer. You can learn from others. You can meet other people because you have a skill. But if you don't have that skill yet, right now in your hometown where there is no industry, that's the perfect opportunity for you to sit in your room and just keep working, working, working. That's what I did. That's what I did every night. I like working at night. I mean, now I work during the day, but there's just something about when I work at night, it's easier for me to focus, easier for me to concentrate, um, and kind of just have a vibe. But yeah, that's what you need to focus on. Don't think about, oh, I need to go here, I need to go there. And get a job if you don't have one and stack some money. Stack your bread. Stack your bread. If you're smart, take your bread, don't keep it in a savings account, and invest in some S&P ETFs. Just put it in there. Keep it in there. Keep stacking, stacking, stacking. Then when it's time when you need that bread, that money's growing. So maybe in 2 years you go to LA or wherever, then you can borrow against that and you can still keep that and you have an investment. Like, think smart. Don't you there's not one way to blow up. There's a million ways. And it's not the same way every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to live in your car and be broke and not have health insurance and not have dental insurance and just neglect yourself, neglect your health, neglect your mental health. Don't do all that because of some false ass dream that was pitched to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be smart about it. You're smart. Be smart about it. Do something similar to what I said, have a plan and make sure you got bread. If you don't have any bread, if you don't have any money, you're not going to be able to stay in the game long enough. That's like you sitting on the sidelines at a basketball game and you need money to play to be in the game. Now you're in the game. Are you good enough? Yes, you're good enough so you can take the shots. But let's say you run out of money, boom, they take you out the game and now you can't even play. You just needed to be in the game long enough to hit your shots. Once you hit your shots, there you are. But you can't be in the game long enough if you can't stay in LA, if you can't stay in Atlanta, if you can't stay in Miami, if you can't stay in New York, because these places are expensive, especially when you're by yourself. You're young, you need roommates or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you got your craft together, and then just have a plan B. Not a plan B, excuse me. Just have a solid plan, so that way you have a chance. And then when you get down there, you'll be ready. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when the journey really starts. It's when your adventures start. The journey starts now, but the adventures start then, right? Because you're gonna meet people, you're gonna go places, you're gonna accidentally get up into studios, and so is gonna walk by, and all sorts of stuff is gonna happen, right? So that's my advice for today. My advice is be realistic. If your sound isn't there, focus on making your sound. If you have questions about that, post it. I will literally be posting tutorials on here showing you guys how to make something dope versus not. I'm also down to even um, take some ideas you guys have, take a beat and me fix it up or show you something like that. That's priceless. What I'm offering right now, I'm telling you, I would have wished to have that. Back in the day when I was in the studio with my mentor, yeah, I had that. But after I left, you know what I'm saying? People just don't have time. I don't have time. But I'm willing to do this for this channel because I'm pushing myself too and I'm trying to be committed. So and with the business side, business, you go into another city, that's your business. Treat it like business. You need capital to fund your business. You could be working at Walmart for a year, 2 years, and stack up 15K. Like I said, put that into some stocks. Put it into some ETFs. Look that up. Google that up. YouTube that. Um, just put it in something so that your money is growing and making more money. It's just not just sitting there. You can make an extra 5K or an extra 10K off your money. And just start thinking like that, because unfortunately, you have to be, if you're a businessman, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. I've seen multiple scenarios. Speaking with myself, there was times where I had money from a publishing deal and stuff was moving like that. I was able to move, get this, buy equipment, this, that, singers in here, stuff is moving like that. And there were times where I didn't have money and it was like everything was on pause. Now I'm just working to keep the bills up. I'm working with clients to pay the rent. I'm forming I got roommates in a studio apartment, and that's the studio in the middle of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? So think about it like a business. Be smart, prepare. That's going to give you a chance at your dreams. All right. So with that, I'm Lazy Boy once again, and I'm out. And hopefully on the next video, we'll see what's up. But I need to start playing some music so you guys can kind of see what I do. Appreciate your time. Peace.